It's a good question. Just because I'm a professor, let me sort of back up. And let's sort of all agree on one thing. We all agree that sexual predators of minors are, nobody's for them. We're all against it, okay? So it's a terrible thing, and we want to stop it any way we can. So, is it a reasonable subject for journalism? Sure, of course it is. The question is how we do it. Of course we should be writing about people who are posing or trying to, lure children into, sexual situations and into abuse. But I don't think it's ethical. I don't think that approach, which is effectively a form of entrapment, that we start becoming the law enforcement, we start playing the role of law enforcement, and as much as we want to see men or women who are sexual predators outed and stopped, I don't think that's the proper role for journalists. Yeah, I do. I think if you think that law enforcement is not doing its job, you should be reporting on law enforcement. If that's your concern, that these guys are being allowed to prey on children, then okay. Then why aren't our police forces going after them? But to substitute yourself as a journalist for law enforcement, that's crossing a line that I think we really don't want to get into. Well, this is the suicide case. There's so many different ethical boundaries, and it sort of, again, I have to sort of see things in the biggest sense. If this was such a great idea by Dateline, do you think Dateline's the only journalist who would say, "Oh, let's do this kind of work"? No. There are others of us, whether in newspapers or magazines or TV stations, that would say, "Hey, let's draw somebody in here." And as I understand it, and I can't claim to be an expert on that specific case or all this, or the details. I know the Esquire did a large expose on it, and I found it deeply troubling as a journalist what they were engaged in. So, based on what I read in Esquire and what I know, this was deeply unethical, and ultimately led to a man, and he may have been a guy who was up to no good, but driving him to suicide, I think we want to stay out of that business.
So, do you have an alternative of what they should have done in that situation? Because he kind of realized that it was a trap,
right.
And then they engaged him. They went to his home, kind of.
Right.
I don't want to say it's an invasion of privacy because what he was doing was illegal, and you kind
right.
of surrender your privacy whenever you do something.
I don't think we should be in any of those businesses. I don't think we should be trying to entrap him. I don't think we should be then going to his home. Again, that is not the appropriate role for journalists to act as a law enforcement agency. And so it's easier for me to list what they got right than what they got wrong, because they got so much more wrong.